meeting is being recorded.
Sino mag-start? Ako na. Good morning, everyone. We are the breakout room number 7, and we are here to report the guidelines for assessing and evaluating portfolio. Assessing and evaluating portfolio according to Paulson and Mayer portfolios offer a way of assessing student learning that is different from of traditional methods. Portfolio assessment provides the teacher and students an opportunity to observe students in a broader context, taking risks, developing creative solutions, and learning to make judgments about their own performances. We can determine the purpose of the portfolio, identify the learning outcomes of the portfolio will address, and then the portfolio assessment became popular early in the 1980s to respond to growing clamor for more reasonable and authentic means of assessing students' growth and development in school. For instance, maybe an accreditation of experience toward a degree. Next is, here are my members, our members for breakout room number 7. Erica Joy Cabral, me, Bernice Joy Bugay, Ina Calma, Ellie Bonus Juda, and Edsel Cornico.
Next po tayo. For portfolio assessment guidelines, competency, credit will be awarded only if the learning suggests that the student has the knowledge, skills, and ability to perform competently in those tasks that are related to the learning being evaluated, at least as competently as would be expected of a student who has gained the knowledge in the classroom. So sabi dito sa competency, yung bilang isang estudyante, no, kailangan talaga meron tayong knowledge, meron tayong skills, no, upang para magawa natin kung ano man yung task na ibibigay sa atin, lalo na sa paggagawa ng portfolio. 'Di ba? So next, identification. Credit will be awarded only for views learning that relates to subjects and methods that are identifiably academic. Specifically, the material should be within the following programs taught at the Living College, Urban Studies. So ayan, sabi dito sa may identification, napakasimple lang. Dapat kapag naggawa tayo nito, dapat related siya dun sa subject or dun sa may particular na tinuturo or method na ginagamit. Di ba sabi dito, yung mga example halimbawa ng program niya is mga urban studies, public management. So dapat related siya doon. Example nga dito yung managing urban diversity, neighborhood planning, yung mga gender leadership. Siya yung mga related dun sa subject na binibigay. So syempre, yung learning cluster na hindi naman appropriate sa subject na tinutukoy, halimbawa, yun yung mga power positive thinking, no, yung mga data entry using barcodes. Next, equivalency. Credit will be awarded only for learning and not for the number of years of experience the student has accumulated. The number of credits awarded for experiential learning outcomes should be equal to the credit awarded for equivalent learning outcomes expected through the traditional classroom instruction. So sabi sa equivalency, so next slide po. Generally usability. Credit will be awarded only for learning that is generalizable. This means that knowledge and skills should be applicable outside the specific job or setting in which they were learned. The student should understand the applicability of concepts to more than one setting and should be able to understand a single setting from more than one conceptual point of view. So from the word naman na general, so kailangan is pangkalahatan siya. It means yung knowledge natin o yung skill na meron tayo, dapat hindi lang sa isang nagpo-focus. So dapat meron siyang pangkalahatan, kumbaga magagamit natin siya sa specific job or setting na gagawin natin o pag-aaralan o dun kung saan tayo matututo. Ayun po. Next.
So, next, balance naman po. Sabi dito, yung balance, credit will be awarded only for learning that is balanced as well appropriate to the subject between theory and practical applications. College level, learning implies as a conceptual as well as practical grasp of the knowledge or competencies acquired. Um, this means that the concept, theories, and principles learned can be articulated by the student who must know that as well as the know-how. Ayun, from the word itself, balance nga. Sabi dito na dapat nga balance yung dapat kailangan appropriate siya sa subject at saka dapat um, sa subject between the theory and practical applications. Then next, congruity, sabi dito, learning clusters should be relevant to the selected portfolio concentration, course objectives, and learning outcomes from the course syllabus should be served as the academic framework for describing and analyzing life experiences. Di ba pag sinabing congruently, parang dapat tugma, nakaano siya, nakakonect, ganon. Then next, completeness. Sabi dito, the award of requested credit depends upon the faculty review of the complete portfolio submitted by the student, and complete portfolio should be presented in a professional manner and meet all requirements listed in the AAPL handbook. And for the last na bullet, authenticity. The award of the credit will be contingent upon the student demonstrating that he or she does indeed have the experience from which the learning has occurred. The burden of proof meet the true documentary evidences rest with students. Yan. Then, ano tayo? Ito, nag-provide kami ng sample. Next slide po. Sample of rating scale. Nakikita natin dito na may two columns na sa first column nakalagay yung score and then sa second column yung description. Ang points natin dito is nagre-range siya ng 1 to 10 points. And sa first row tayo, 1 to 3 points. Ang description niya, if it shows poor awareness and weak effort in preparing portfolio, also shows difficulty in understanding the flow of preparing portfolio, including the awareness of time management. Ayan. Pag ayun yung nakita natin sa gawa ng bata, sa portfolio ng bata, pwede natin siya, ang inilagay naming range dito na score is 1 to 3. Then, sa second row, 4 to 7 points naman. Ang nakalagay sa description niya, if it shows effort, awareness, and understanding in creating portfolio, and also shows good reflection of assessment. Doon siya makakuha ng 4 to 7 points. Then last row, 8 to 10 points. Ang sabi sa description niya, if it reflects much efforts, high-level awareness, and learning that produces amazing output, also demonstrate a quality outcome that shows continuity of learning. Ayan, dyan siya makakakuha ng 8 to 10 points na range. So, next reporter, may I call on Mr. Edsel Cornico po.
Thank you, Miss Erica Joy Cabral. These are my report for today's assessment tools. First is self-peer assessment with rating scales. Self-rating scales can be a questionnaire or an inventory used to assess attitudes, interests, abilities, and performance. Below are various PDFs of self-rating scale. Next is um, checklist with criteria such as clear presentation, relevant vocabulary, correct spelling, pronunciation, depending on the task. Checklists are assessment tools that set out specific criteria which educators and students may use to gauge skill development or progress. Next is teacher peer observation. So teacher peer observation is when a teacher observes another teacher in order to develop their classroom practice. A peer can be any college willing to support you. They may be from a different department or year team, have recently joined teaching, or be a member of the senior leadership team. Next is learning log. Learning logs are a personalized learning resource for children. In the learning logs, the children record their responses to learning challenges set by teachers. Each log is a unique record of the child's thinking and learning. Next is key assessment or answer key assessment. What are key assessments? Key assessments are course assignments or exams that are aligned to program level learning outcomes and used to represent student learning on those outcomes. Next is guided reflection on the task. Tasks require you to examine your subjective thoughts and feelings as well as your responses to new information and new experiences in order to identify learning needs and improve your learning process. Make connections between theory and professional practice. Yun lang po. Yun lang po. Thank you.
So salamat Mr. Cornico. Kanina po natunghayan natin yung iba't ibang tools that we can use no in uh, assessing a portfolio. So ang sabi po dito sa next slide, one of the most important aspects of portfolio assessment is that collaborative approach. Ang sabi po dyan, when we say collaborative approach, hindi lang siya idea ng isa, but it is an idea of a whole group. So, pag sinabi natin collaborative, iba-ibang utak ang ginagamit dyan, in which students and teachers collaborate to identify significant or important artifacts and processes to be included in the portfolio. Makikita natin dyan, when we are creating portfolio, no, hindi lang teachers yung may idea, no? Hindi lang sila yung nagsasabi na ganito gawin mo, ganito yung lagay mo, ganito yung lagay mo. No. In some instances, no, yung teacher nagbibigay lang sila ng topics, nagbibigay sila ng sample. But at the end of the day, yung mga students, sila yung nagko-kompleto ng laman ng isang portfolio. Kaya masasabi natin it is a collaborative approach. Next slide please. Ang sabi po dito, yung student-teacher conference, the main philosophy embedded in portfolio assessment is shared and active assessment. The teacher should have short individual meeting with each student in which progress is discussed and goals are set for a future meeting. Yung student teacher conference po, for example, ito yung mga klase ng meeting po na ire-rely ng teacher, no, what happened, no, sa mga nakakaraang uh, klase, and then i-share ng teacher yon, and also yung mga students mag-share sila ng mga experience nila, yung mga natutunan nila, and makakapagbuo sila ng isang discussion at masasabi ng teacher na there is a progress, and magagamit nila yon for a future meeting. So next slide please. Or other references. Ang sabi po dito, the teacher and students keep detailed records of the meeting, nothing significant agreements, and locating each individual sessions. The portfolio assessment's formative evaluation process is aided. Indeed, using portfolio assessment takes time, but it pays off in the end. Actually, this statement po, makikita natin na nasabi po dyan, it really takes time na gawin. Kasi syempre, when you are assessing a portfolio, malaki ang possibility na per page or per activity, you will look on it. Ano yung needs on improvement, ano yung maganda na siya at hindi na natin kailangan i-revise, or yung sobrang sabihin natin weak yung performance or weak yung activity na kailangan pa talaga ng much improvement. It really takes time, no? Pero at the end of the day, it really pays off. Ang sabi dyan, but it pays off in the end. But natin nasabi na it pays off in the end kasi makikita natin pag natapos natin yung portfolio assessment, parang nakaka-relieve siya kasi matatapos mo siya. So it really pays off. Finally, no, bilang conclusion, student-teacher conference can be used for summative evaluation. When student presents their final portfolio, product, and final grades are determined in collaboration with the teacher. This conference can be prepared in pairs with students presenting their portfolio. Parang somehow, it is like a defense, no? Na pag na-present mo na yung portfolio mo or napasa mo na siya sa teacher, ang sabi dyan, tulad na sinabi ko kanina, though it takes time, sabi dyan, pag nakita na natin yung final product natin, yung final portfolio product, and yung grades natin, no, na actually ginawa natin to through the collaboration with our teachers, with our professors, and makikita natin na maganda yung outcome, and finally marirelieve tayo and it will pay off. So sana po natuto po kayo sa aming presentation. So bilang pong pagwawakas, we would like to give you a reminders, no, from our group. Ang sabi po dyan, the purpose of assessment for learning is to improve student learning by providing teachers and students with assessment data that can inform and guide instruction and learning. Also, ang sabi po dito, assessment is today's means of modifying tomorrow's instruction. So maraming salamat po. Thank you and God bless. Mabuhay po tayo.